Okay, here we go. And more than a few people asked me since I made the video on the Zeiss Distagon 18mm F3.5 that I was filming it in my hands on a table from a few feet away, and they're very interested in a close-up look of the lens. The first time people have asked for a close-up on the lens. A little spot of dust there, I'll get it later. So here it is, 82mm front filter. Obviously the front element is considerably smaller than that. F3.5, 8 elements and 5 groups, as I recall. No, it's 11 elements and 8 groups. So many lenses I forgot on this lens. I believe it's 11 elements. Someone's going to correct me. It's like, how could you forget? It's like, you know how many lenses I own? How many of them? I can't remember everything, for God's sakes. Got me a break. There is no movement in focusing on the 18mm Zeiss Distagon as far as the first few elements. There's no extension that goes on here. You'll actually see the rear element assembly move in and out. Obviously not while it's mounted on the camera, so you have no movement on the lens as mounted on the camera. When you're actually focusing, the throw is rather shallow, which is awesome. That means the throw is a focus necessity from infinity to closest focus, so I can actually do it without removing my hand to readjust, so there's closest to infinity. Let me stick the rear cap back on. Rather an expensive lens, $1,200. I absolutely love it. It does have a heavy vignetting at f3.5, but it is exquisitely sharp. The rendition and the micro contrast are incredible on this lens. It's not a cheap lens. The cheapest used one you'll typically find is about $900, and you really don't find them used because everybody that owns one of these doesn't get rid of it. So here's a close-up look at the 18mm F3.5 ZF2 Nikon mount Carl Zeiss Distagon. Not a very heavy lens because it's so short, but it is obnoxiously heavy per square inch as any other Carl Zeiss lens, as is the case with an exquisite lens. Now this is like an AIP lens, okay, which means you can use it in program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, and manual, because it does have CPU metering. It is a ZF2, which means it has CPU contacts. The camera knows what sort of jive is sitting on the front of the camera, and therefore it can do TTL metering and be used in all modes: program, aperture, shutter, and manual. So that's a good thing. This is not like an AIS lens. It is so far as it's manual focus only, but once you actually lock in the aperture ring on this to f22, which is a little button right over here, boom, locked in. You never adjust the aperture on these ZF2 lenses. You do on the ZF lenses, which do not have CPU contacts for communication with your DSLR, but you do not have to on the ZF2s. I think I just stated the same thing twice, excuse me. So that's a close look there. Like I said, heavy vignetting until you reach f8, but this is actually a perfect Astro lens, and it is exquisite. I mean, a fast ultra wide like this, if you want a really awesome fast ultra wide, and this one is awesome, I mean it's incredible, I have it for a reason, I haven't got rid of it, you need to grab the 20mm f1.8 G series Nikkor. Now that lens new is only $800. It is rather plasticky, but it has exquisite vignetting, exquisite lack thereof of vignetting, and it's an awesome lens, and it's worth every bit of $800. Is this lens worth $1,200 new? Yeah, that's a good question. I actually think that it does, especially if you're going to shoot ultra wide, black and white. The micro contrast and the rendition and the saturation on this lens is exquisite. It's better than the 20mm Nikkor. This does have softer corners at f3.5 than the 20mm Nikkor does at 3.5, but it also has superior characteristics in rendition, depth, saturation, and micro contrast, especially for black and white shooting, than the 20mm Nikkor f1.8G. So $1,200 here versus $800 new on the Nikkor 20mm f1.8G. So there's a close look. That's the 18mm Distagon from Carl Zeiss. Okie doke. Great. Awesome. Catch the next video and I will tell you where Carl Zeiss sucks. It's only a couple things, don't